Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. If you've been following our webinar series, we've been doing each of the pillars of ECM. And in the past, we've done access and capture and a few others. And today, we're going to talk about measure. So measuring the information that you put into the system and different ways to find out what is all there. So today, it's going to be Jason and myself. I'm Jennifer Hinkwinet.
How you doing, guys? So we'll go in. So the rest of the customer care group that I'm sure you guys are familiar with, obviously we got them on the screen here, but like we said, Jennifer Hinkwinet, our supervisor here. We also have Jennifer Siegel, Andrew Batita, Kathy Hughes, and then myself. So when you call in, you will get one of us, and we'll be able to help you guys out and figure out your issues.
And many of you have probably talked to one or all of us at some point.
Probably. So first and foremost, obviously welcome. Just some basic rules and housekeeping. So obviously the attendance, all of you guys are muted. That just kind of helps us streamline these webinars a little bit easier and kind of go through them. This chat box is available to type your comments or questions should you have any. So please throw them at us as you have them. We'll kind of take a little bit of breaks here and there to answer any questions when we see fit. At the end of the webinar, there will be a little survey. So we ask that you can please take that and kind of give us some feedback on these. And any previous webinars that we've covered can be found at the website there, naviantinc.com/resources/video. Great tools to kind of get the most out of your systems and learn the most out of what we're doing here.
Yep, and if you think of a question after the webinar, please feel free to contact us at support@naviant-inc.com and we can answer those questions.
Absolutely. So like we said, we're going to be getting into one of the other pillars of ECM, and the one we're talking about today is measure. So when we talk about measure, we're looking at a couple different aspects of ECM, but specifically, we're looking at how do we measure what we're doing and how do our environments and systems work and kind of progress tracking. So, it's an old saying, it's kind of hard to know where you're going if you don't know where you've been, and kind of a good way to look at that is, what are you doing at the moment? So some of the things we're going to be talking about here, we're going into batch scanning and reporting. So we're going to talk about report mining, we're going to talk about exception reports, report services, business activity monitoring, and scanning reports. And then on the other side of that, we're going to look at some real-time monitoring, so document tracking folders and reporting dashboards. Any of you that are on OnBase 15 now will know, or hopefully would know, what reporting dashboards are. It's a pretty cool new tool that is new to OnBase, and I'd say, Jen, a lot of our customers that have that, it's a pretty powerful tool, and it gives us, a lot of different features of what we're looking for. So diving into it. Batch level monitoring. So what are we monitoring? There's a lot of different times when content expiration is important. Some businesses and some practices say that you must keep certain information around for an X period of time for legal purposes. On the flip side of it, there's also times when after a certain level of time, you must delete documents and you got to get rid of certain content. So monitoring that and staying on top of that, in paper form is obviously pretty tricky and pretty hard to stay on top of, especially when stuff's coming in, at different periods of time. With OnBase, you have the ability to, monitor that a little bit easier.
You can use, there is two modules that can be used for this content expiration. Yeah. There's records management, which is based off a folder structure, and then there's also document retention. Because there are times when you really want to get rid of it legally. If you have a document that you shouldn't have anymore, yeah, can be more detrimental than if you've gotten rid of it. So this allows you to take all that content and make sure that, say it's 7 years, after 7 years, say a loan closes and you have to keep it for 7 years after it closes, that after that 7 years, then those documents are then destroyed, so nobody can come back and ask you for those documents because they are not there anymore.
Absolutely. So Obviously good on content exploration. Missing content. You know, a lot of times, you know, you may be monitoring, you know, a lot of different data and a lot of different documents coming in. Well, you know, let's look at employee onboarding. You know, sometimes you have, you know, 4 or 5 crucial documents you must have. Going through every single employee and seeing, do I have everyone's W-2s, everyone's W-9? You know, it's a lot to stay on top of. Well, missing content, you know, you can monitor and see kind of what you have and what you don't have, which gives us a little bit of a truth on that.
Yep. A nice tool to help with that is if you're using HR foldering, which we use here in-house, you can set it up so that those documents that are missing show up in a different queue, I guess, or a bucket, so that you can see what is missing if somebody is looking through an employee's folder and know what extra information they need to get from that person.
Exactly. And that's a lot nicer than having to dig and dig and dig and dig versus just, you know, having to see what you can do. So next, we're monitoring indexing accuracy. So obviously, you know, when we index our different documents coming in, you know, doing them automatically is great, but a lot of times we are still doing manual indexing. So unfortunately, as humans, we make mistakes. I know some of us think we never do, but we're all guilty of fat fingering a number here and there or skipping a line. So, you know, what we're going to be talking about a little today is kind of helping keep that accurate. And then also process speed and accuracy on top of that. So there's, you know, we're obviously in the business of making sure that processes are working fluidly and efficiently. We want to make sure that stuff is kind of going through at the speed we want it to. So that's a little bit into going into what we're monitoring. Sort of visibility and control that we have. Monitor performance. You know, a basic one like we talked about it. You know, your car has a dashboard on it, and it tells you how fast you're going and your RPMs and, you know, how much gas you got left in the tank. Well, we kind of want to bring that same, you know, level of monitoring to your business. Identifying bottlenecks. You know, it's always important to see where things are slowing down so that you can resolve those and get things working a lot more efficiently.
And although today we're going to talk about the stuff straight within OnBase that you can do, performance monitoring and identifying bottlenecks also takes place on your servers. Yeah. So on the software that's running on your servers and your IIS and all those kind of components, those are also things that you should keep, that should be kept an eye on and need to be monitored, because if your server's running at 100%, your users are probably going to start seeing problems on the performance side of the actual client. So something to keep in mind, because it kind of goes both ways, within the software and within the hardware that's running the software.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, you're also going to have some visibility and control over demonstrating compliance. Like we talked about earlier, it's never good getting audited, but it happens to the best of us. And it's good to be compliant, and it's good to be able to demonstrate, you know, that you are within compliance, but also to be able to do it easily and effectively. You know, I've seen businesses where, you know, you have to bring out the folders and folders and folders and boxes, and that's never fun. So visibility and control, we're also going to be able to manage exceptions. You know, we talked about that a little bit earlier. Service level agreements, you know, those are when any kind of businesses are doing partnerships between each other. You know, you want to make sure that not only are you held accountable, but they are as well. Kind of staying on top of that quickly and easily is really nice. And then, you know, proving ROI. At the end of the day, you know, we're trying to make sure we have a solid return on our investments, and we don't want to have to wait till the end of the year to see if we're doing that. It's nice to be able to check on that when we want to and make sure that we are in control and, you know, have visibility of what we're looking at. So diving into this, there we go. Make sure you're there. Yep. So how do we achieve it? We have a couple different tools that we're going to be talking about here. Kind of going through them. We have report mining, reporting services, business activity monitoring, otherwise known as BAM, you'll hear it called, exception reports, and then scanning reports, and transaction log reports. As you can see with the asterisks down there, a lot of these do require a separate license. So if any of these that we are talking about maybe, you know, rings a bell or something that, you know, you're a little more interested in, we encourage you to reach out to your account executives and, you know, get a little more information on that, and, you know, they can talk about, you know, what can be done to get those licenses and get those parts into your business and get it monitored from there. So going into it, report mining. So report mining it's a pretty simple topic, but it's something that is extremely helpful. So report mining extracts the required data from OnBase text documents and aggregates them into information into an Excel spreadsheet. So obviously you can see the little visual in the bottom right hand corner. You got your standard green bar sheets there. Well, report mining, why do we need to do this? It takes the manual data entry into spreadsheets that is time consuming and prone to error. Manual entry, if you're a single line off, everything becomes null and void. If you fat finger a digit and there's a equation built off of it, pretty much rule that one out as well. Also needing dedicated IT resources not only adds time, but it adds cost. You have the extra desks as well, but having the extra bodies around is troublesome. And then also incomplete views of data can result in poor organizational planning. So if you don't have good information in front of you, making decisions off of poor information is obviously going to lead to poor decisions. So it's kind of garbage in, garbage out. Well, if you have, good in, you get good out, which is nice. So little example here. So obviously on the right-hand side, that is what your typical green bar sheets would look like. You have, copious amounts of information going in there. And it's all stuff that you may need at a certain point in time, but for specific reasons, sorry about that, maybe you're only needing 4 or 5 pieces of information. So with report mining, as you can see, we're highlighting different things on the right-hand side with the green box there. And what we're mainly looking for is the employee, their position. We want to know their department, the date, their total wages, their net pay, and their check number. Well, on the right-hand side, we have much more information than that, and a lot of that spreads across many, many, many sheets. So putting on someone's desk 40 to 50 or 100 sheets of green bar paper and saying, hey, here's all the information you were looking for, you're going to have to be digging through that quite a bit. Well, what we can do here with report mining, you can kind of highlight what you want to do and you can extract that out. And instead of providing someone with 50 pages of information, you can provide them with, maybe 1 or 2 Excel spreadsheets that go, this is exactly what you're looking for. Obviously, Excel is a lot easier to use. You can build in functions and equations with it. It takes what would other be wise just data and it makes it information. So report mining is a pretty helpful tool to get things going with that.
Yep, and then report services. So report services has been around for a while. Many of you probably have it. I know some of our customers have it, but haven't done much with it. Mm-hmm. It's a reporting solution that basically provides SQL statements against the database. OnBase is created, or Highland has created, I don't know, 30, 50, somewhere in there, reports, custom reports that they've put together that they have found to be the most information that people are looking for. So this, this allows you to track, how many documents are in a user's queue, or when was the last time users logged in. There's a bunch of different kinds of reporting you can do. If you've got document knowledge transfer, there's reporting for that. There's security reports, all different kinds of reports. As you can see, if you had to have an IT resource create all these different SQL statements for you, that would be very costly. And users have unsecure access to the OnBase database. So you don't want to give people access to go into your OnBase database and make these, run these statements themselves. This allows you a tool to run those statements against the database using their regular credentials to get logged in.
And like Joe said, what in the quick and easy term of this, this is the module of OnBase that provides the opportunity to analyze business or system health. To know where our shortcomings are kind of easier ways then to, help them out and keep them going. But yeah, kind of what you said on that, having users that are going to be able to, get access to databases, that's a little bit risky and stuff you don't really want to do. But, utilizing this to analyze your business and analyze your database, especially with OnBase, is a helpful tool. So kind of a visual of how this all works.
Yeah, so basically it runs off your application server. When you actually install the application server, there is an option for report services, and you need to enter the database server name and the name of the database in order to have that access. You can use your AD credentials to get logged in. There is also a click once deployed package for report services, so you can create a package and then give it to the people that you want to have this access. Managers maybe. Here within our organization, our CFO uses it quite a bit.
Yep.
So it accesses the database to bring back information in a nice report view. You can then export that information, as you can see, to many different, Excel, HTML, PDF, depending on how you want the information to come out of the system.
Right, and I think a lot of people use this where they'll obviously generate reports and maybe some people just want to have a daily snapshot of kind of what's going on here. They may not need the full Excel spreadsheet going through there, so export them a JPEG of it, and they get a better view of kind of right now what's happening and what's going on, and then their day is done. So.
Yep. And here is there is an Excel add-in that comes with report services.
Yeah.
That allows you to bring the data straight into the Excel interface, so you can see it and generate the report straight from within Excel. It's very convenient, very easy. That way your users don't have to necessarily use reports or look at the report services module.
Mm-hmm.
They can actually be in Excel and generate those reports that they're looking for.
Right.
And here's just kind of an example. This over here on the right is basically the different report group. Oh, sorry. On the right-hand side, there's the pane there. That is basically a different report group, workflow reports, one of the report groups. And then these are all the reports within it. So average time to process a document, daily workflow usage, and you can see on the bottom that you can enter parameters to give you the information that is most helpful for what you're trying to solve, assess, depending on the situation.
And if you look at this too, obviously being anyone who works in Excel, they're going to know the native functions of Excel, so you get to sort and kind of make your visualizations as much as you want them to. If someone really wants to take this data and keep utilizing it and keep looking into it, you can start to build functions off of it, and they can kind of use this as they want it. So, it's limited just by how creative you want to be with it, but then the user at the end of it can kind of take it as far as they want it to.
Well, and it allows you to make the bar charts and the pie charts,
yep.
which are really, really nice, straight from Excel here. But you will see when we get to reporting dashboards,
yes.
that there's also the ability to do the pie charts and bar charts, but that's straight within the Excel or straight within the Unity module.
Exactly. So another way to look at this too, report services, you also get the filter matrix. Some people just really like looking at this a little bit more. You have your certain categories of what you're looking at and kind of feeding them in and filling them in of what goes on with this. Once again, something that's, a part of the report services module there. Pivot tables, which you'll have some people that love them and some people that hate them. But pivot tables are extremely useful tools that, given a large sum of information, you can kind of allow users to narrow it down to what they want it to be and where they want their information to end up as. So once again, just kind of pushing how much this aspect can do, which is really nice.
So in a nutshell, report services, it optimizes the reporting. It gives business users an easy way to run reports without having to be a SQL report expert.
Yep.
It supports database security, so you're logging in with in most cases, your AD credentials without giving that user access to the database.
Yep.
It's simple to deploy with the click once deployment. It's easy to upgrade because it's a module straight within OnBase, and it's very flexible. Another thing I wanted to mention is that if you are a support customer, we have actually created a bundle of more reports that we give you for free if you are a support customer or
Tier 1.
Or yes, if you're a Tier 1 or Tier 2 support customer. If you are not, you can purchase them if you have the OnBase or the report services module. We just took suggestions from people within our office and from customers of different reports that they would like to see that were not in the custom bundle that came from Highland.
Right.
And we have created those with some more, different reports to access different information.
Exactly, and it's always a daunting task when someone just kind of knocks on your door, sends you an email saying, hey, I want to see a report of X, Y, and Z. Being able to generate that information quickly and easily, we are in the business process automation, business. This is an easy way to kind of automate that and bring it, quickly and easily to people that need it. So diving in, business activity monitoring, otherwise known as BAM. So, just a little bit. So, like we said before, lack of process performance visibility creates non-value added steps, bottlenecks, and waste. If you don't see what you're doing and you can't see kind of the processes behind them, you'll have shortcomings that kind of come through. Different businesses will have different KPIs, and some people just don't know what their KPIs necessarily are. It's nice to see in what areas you're excelling really well at, and if you know what you're doing well at, that means you can also refocus your attention on kind of what you're not doing so well at. Processing thresholds and exceptions are not easy to configure and measure. Trying to do this just on your own, just going through data, is pretty difficult to be able to do quickly and easily. When you have a lot of data, and being able to turn that into information makes it a lot easier to analyze. And then last, meeting the terms of SLAs, the service level agreements, is difficult to measure. With a lot of different business partnerships, you may have different SLAs between all, different aspects of that. Being able to kind of monitor those and make sure that, yes, we are staying within compliance with these, or, hey, we might need to, look into this a little bit further and see what's going on. This is an easy way to stay on top of all those. So a lot of the big things of what we're talking about here is staying on top of it. It's a comforting feeling knowing that you have kind of everything under control. Definition of business activity monitoring: it enables real-time visibility into critical workflow processes, giving immediate, actionable information about the health of a process. So the thing to kind of highlight here is the real-time visibility, and obviously, being in the workflow. So it's looking at kind of what's happening right now. Report services, report mining, you're going to be taking, information that, while it may be quote-unquote old, a day, a couple hours, whatever, business activity monitoring is kind of looking at what's going on right now. Like we said, highlight this, business activity monitoring, it's real-time process visibility, expedites business process management, it will automate your process analysis, support business agility, and kind of the trend of what we see a lot of things going with now. It does support mobile access for iPad. So a lot of customers were really liking that there was different aspects of OnBase that were becoming mobile, so they could kind of take it with them and move along with this. Well, just another aspect of it where you can kind of get back on it too. So that, in a nutshell, was BAM. I know I kind of hurried through that, but like we said, if just kind of going over the key points there, if it's something that your business is looking for, reach out to your account managers and they can go more into that. Not wanting to drag our feet here and make sure we make our time threshold here. Going into exception reports. So exception reports are, pretty obvious what they are, but why do we need exception reports? So manual auditing of documents and content is extremely labor intensive, also not very fun. Missing documents can lead to decreased revenue. So you may be missing certain key pieces of information that are not generating you the revenue you're looking for. It can also be, exception reports. I talked about this earlier. Our HR department uses them as well. That every time a new hire is brought on board, we say, all right, this new hire is going to need these 5 pieces of information. If they're missing one, for that HR executive to be able to go in and recognize that and look at it, is going to be dependent upon them going through those steps. An exception report is generated as often as we want to that says, hey, John Smith is missing his W-2. You're going to want to get that pretty quickly. Just a helpful tool to let people work more efficiently. Another reason for these, human errors occur when non-automated quality assurance with non-automated quality assurance methods. So, obviously, like I said, as humans, we make errors, and an exception report will kind of identify when one has been made, and correcting those as quickly as possible is, what keeps processes going. So, exception reports, they confirm the existence of required documents. which obviously also means it will identify missing documents, and then it'll rapidly audit all documents. So versus having to constantly go through everything you have and see, do I have everything? Am I missing anything? This just does it for you. So once again, going back on the automation side of it, it lets you focus on other tasks at hand that may be, a little more necessary at the moment.
Scanning reports are basically exactly what they're called.
Yep.
These are ran from the FIC client. They basically provide you statistics on what you are actually scanning. So you can get, average documents per batch, average batch per day. You can run it by user and find out, okay, I've got Sally and Bob doing all my scanning. Are they both scanning about the same amount of documents? And you could run this report and see, oh no, Sally is doing 5 times as much scanning as Bob. And maybe then you then can figure out, okay, maybe Bob is doing other things at this time, or whatever the case is, and make decisions. Maybe we don't need 2 people to be scanning anymore. Maybe we really can only be getting everything done with 1 scanning station. So it's a great tool. It gives you a lot of different options. You can do it by date range, by user. I think you can even do it by user group. So it gives you a lot of different options to figure out what is being really done in your scanning department. And transaction log reports are also built in with OnBase. They are in the same, you find them in the exact same place in the FIC client. Under admin, there's scanning reports, and then there's the transaction log reports. Transaction log reports are also another very good tool to get information about different things like different configurations that are made, or you can run reports on log in and log out to see, okay, what user, is this user logging in, when are they logging into OnBase during the day, and when are they logging out of OnBase, and are they actually in OnBase as long as they say they are? There's document history, which is also a very good tool. It can tell you when documents were created. I have used this report several times with customers to try to investigate reports that were supposedly created, but we can't find them anywhere in OnBase. So under each of these message groups on this list, like document history and processing log, if you go into them, there is a button or a checkbox that says show all reports under that topic, and it will give you, because it is only going to show you initially like 5 or 6, but if you click the all button, it will show you a list under each of these. That's at least 10 to 20 different reports that you can run against the database to get information back.
Right, and looking at a lot of our attendees that are in our meeting today, obviously a lot of you are involved with troubleshooting and problem solving, and this is kind of where a lot of us will go to as well. When we need to figure out what is happening or kind of what happened to cause the current issue that's at hand, transaction logs are a great tool to look through and see, okay, let's get a snapshot of what's been happening in the last hours, days, weeks, months, what's happening and what's going on, and where did we kind of get this to. Obviously we have other diagnostic tools, but we need kind of immediate snapshots of very specific items and tasks. This is a great place to look as well. So keep those in mind when kind of going through these, but also, like we said, for anything that you need to measure on, these are really great. So now jumping into real-time monitoring. So just a simple one we're going to just touch on real quickly. Document tracking folders. It is something that does require the document tracking license, but pretty straightforward and pretty simple. It allows a real-time look at document compliance. Necessary documents, do they exist? Are the documents current? Are the documents compliant? And then automatic notifications if any conditions are not met. For people that are finding themselves constantly looking through documents and seeing, do I have everything I need? Do I have everything? Is everything up to date? Is everything, up to compliance code? This is one that can be nice to kind of take that burden and stress off and kind of, help the system just do what it needs to do. So, going going into our last big step here, we'll finish off on this one here. So something new to OnBase was reporting dashboards. So reporting dashboards is really nice. That's kind of the best way I can put it. It makes it pretty and it makes it nice.
Yes, it is actually, you need to be a Unity client customer because it uses the Unity client.
Application server.
Yep, application server to display the data. And basically it allows you to write queries against the database to bring back information in a nice looking format. Mm-hmm. As you can see down here, the pie chart and the bar chart will make it look a lot nicer and a lot easier sometimes. Sometimes we all do better with visual. Yep. And which I think is very funny because we're now creating bar charts with my 6-year-old kindergarten class. So so they can see it visually. And so we've done this, from a small age to where we are now. Yep. That makes it easier to see this information and know what we need to do with it. So it's a native reporting client. It's point and click. It's pretty easy to, you can do very easy reporting by point and click and to create those, or the different scripts that you need for the different data you're looking for. Now, you can write more complex SQL scripts to get you more complex data depending on what kind of information you are looking to get. Right. So it can be really easy from basic statistics to more complex statistics that you are looking to get out of the database. Right. And what is really nice about this is, like I said, it's right in the Unity client, so you can access it straight from there. If you're using the Unity client already, you don't have to open anything else. Right.
The big thing to emphasize there is flexibility, is that if you want to just push and push and push this, it's going to let you do it. It's going to let you kind of go as far as you want to go with it. But out of the box, it's going to have a lot of functionality straight from it. So,
and OnBase is continuing to add to this module. Yep. So as we get to version 16, which will probably come out in the next few months, and version 17 next year, they will continue to add to this module as this is the new and latest, greatest reporting tool from them.
Exactly. And just a quick snapshot here of what we're looking at. From the customers we have that already use this, they love it. For anyone that just needs quick snapshots of, what's going on, where am I at, this kind of will roll it all up and kind of give you a...
Yep, because as you can see with this little chart here in the middle, it tells you how many documents are in each queue. Yep. So if you instead of having to go into workflow and look at all of your queues, this gives you a snapshot right from the start of what, where are all your documents. So, I mean, that could tell you right off the bat if you come in here in the morning, oh, I have, 10 documents in this invoice review queue. Well, who's not doing their job because there should, these need to be reviewed and gotten out the door. So it gives you some information to look and see where shortcomings might be or where you might need to change things.
Right. And just kind of going through a couple more things here. I mean, they've really pushed the envelope on this, and there's just a ton. You can look at here, documents by location. You can kind of get demographic charts here, documents by facility, documents by document type. Even that graph in the middle there, that's kind of the wavier line. It talks about the dates as well on it. As unique as you want to look at your documents and look at your data, for some people, pie charts are going to be the end-all be-all. For other people, they're going to want to see things just in a different sort of way. The same information displayed 50 ways will give you different angles to look at your information and see what you're going at. Once again, invoice processing workflow, you can see the number of invoices for the count for the different years. And then you can also break it down by your suppliers and by who the different workflows are from. Invoices processed per employee. Information is valuable. And then on the left-hand side, amount, invoice amount sum. Obviously, you look at that pie chart and you go, okay, computers are us. They are our bread and butter right now. We might need to look at that a little bit and see what's going on here and just make sure that we're taking care of our best customers. You know, once again, this is all about putting information at your fingertips and helping it get to the right people's eyes and hands so that when decisions need to be made, they can be made with the most amount of effective information possible. So to sum it back up, reporting dashboards, it is a point-and-click dashboard designer. You can share dashboards with other OnBase users. Let's say you notice a piece of information that maybe you looked at a little bit differently and you go, hey, you know, Bob down in accounting, I don't know if he's seen it like this. Let me share that down with him and shoot it down to him. Interactive dashboard items allows users to dynamically update, filter, and drill down into specific business areas. Applying filters, you can really look at just what you're looking to hone in on and get you what you need. Display actions allows users to open related documents, workflow queues, work through objects and folders. Being a part of Unity, you know, they've really integrated it just across the board. So this is not just information, but you can really drill down and get what you need. Data provides wizards for workflow and document retrieval. Granular security and permissions. Once again, you don't want everyone being able to get access to your database and get access to every little piece of information. We want to let people get in what they need and, you know, not let them what they don't. You can Excel dashboard data to Excel, so you can either, you know, send it off to someone and let them see it across the globe, or if you want to share it with anyone else, you can do that. Then you can upload dashboards directly into OnBase as an image, which is really helpful. And touching on Measure, I know we kind of zipped through a lot of that, but this is kind of a huge aspect of businesses, and it's something that I think a lot of companies put a lot of time and effort into, and you just want to make sure that you're on top of all your information as much as possible. You know, being in the dark about anything, you know, leaves the door wide open for, you know, either competition or for, you know, other parts of the business to kind of fall by the wayside. When you have a good handle on your information and what's going on, it kind of gives you the tools to make the smartest business decisions possible. So, like I said, I know we flew over a lot of this, but if anything of this, you know, touched home with any of you, or is there something that you want a little more information on, you know, feel free to reach out to not only your account executive, but you can reach out to support as well. You know, we can help you walk through into this and see if it's the right business tool for what you may need it for, and if there's something specifically you're looking to do, you know, we can research it and make sure that you guys get the right tools at hand. So.
Yep, and as always, we're constantly adding to our blog, so please feel free to go out and check it out. Mm-hmm. And then there's always lots and lots of information on the community. They actually did some changing of it over the last week or so, and so that there's a lot more data and just in a totally different format, which I have found to be very, very helpful. So right. Feel free to go out there. If you, like I said, if you do have any questions, please let us know.
And just to touch back on the blog, I know a lot of people think that it's either just specific OnBase material or it's just specific to what we do. Our blog really covers any and all aspects of IT and anything involved with it. I think the last couple ones were, you know, talking about how, you know, Microsoft Server 2003 is going to be kind of unsupported, and, you know, kind of going in the different levels of Internet Explorer. You know, anything that can relate to something we think our customers may need that information at hand, if we can come across it and get it out to you. It is not just a very, you know, narrow-sided specific blog.
And then there's our technical blog.
Yeah.
But if you go to our website and you go to the resources, we also have an ECM blog too. Yep. It just talks about the new and different technologies and stuff that is coming to the world of ECM. So that is a little bit different. It's not as technical as our technical blog, but that can also provide you with some more information. Now, we don't have any questions in the chat window, so we're going to go ahead and just slide right by this. But if you do have questions, please feel free to contact us. Our current version, so we are on 15 SP2 right now for OnBase. 141 is the build number. We don't have very many customers right now that are using Kofax Capture, but version 10 is the latest there. We've got Kofax VRS Elite, which is 5.1, which I believe most people are using these days. Teleforms, and then Brainware just went to 5.6 SP2. That's their latest build. So we are working to get, we actually have a customer upgrading to that right now. So we're working on moving forward on that front also. Now our next webinar is March 16th. We do not have any topics at this point, so please feel free if you have a topic that you would like us to talk about, please send it to support or put it in the survey at the end of this and we will get it and we will do what we can to make it part of our next webinar. Right. Our next conference the Navient conference is in October, which is very far away. So I have a couple other announcements to make that are before that. We are going to provide OnBase training here at Navient again this year. We try to do this every year. So in April, from the 11th to the 14th, we're going to have an OnBase system admin training class. It's a 4-day class. And if that's something that you are interested in, go out to our website. Class size is limited to 12 people. So if you know that this is something that you want to do, please, if you can't find it on the website for some reason, please contact myself or support, and we can get that information to our marketing director. And then from May 23rd to May 26th, we're also going to do an introduction to OnBase workflow. So if you have not attended a workflow training class or you're new to workflow, this might be a great class for you to attend. There's a 4-day class, also same as at Highland. Each of these classes costs $2,800 per person, and but we have them here so you don't have to travel all the way to Cleveland, Ohio.
Right.
So
and the classes are taught by a Highland employee. So this is exactly the same course you would get in Cleveland should you be there. So the nice thing with this is being in Madison, Wisconsin, if you have anyone who's local to the area here, or it's easier to get here versus going all the way to Cleveland, you're going to get the exact same experience. 4-day classes run Monday to Thursday. You know, I sat through both of these last year, and the amount of information you get out of these is just invaluable. If you have anyone in your organization that's either coming into OnBase or that's new to OnBase, you know, just getting the basics under your belt, that is what everything grows off of from there. So being that additional resource tool, if you have someone that's going to be backing someone up on certain days off or holidays, it's never a bad idea to get someone trained up on sysadmin, and then anyone that's going to be working in workflows or need to make any adjustments to those, you get to understand the basics of workflow where, you know, like we all know, everything is built off of those basics, and you can really get that information off of it. So can't speak enough to the value that those bring. And like we said before, also the Navient conference, last year it was up in, just in 2015, it was up in Green Bay at Lambeau Field, which for all of you that were there can attest how great of a summit that really was. It was awesome to be on the field and kind of seeing around up there, but also the amount of information we brought to it. This year we're going to do it at the Monona Terrace in Madison, Frank Lloyd Wright inspired building overlooking Lake Monona. It is absolutely gorgeous, kind of bringing it home for 2016, so we hope to obviously see everyone there for our summit. And that's about it for today. So.
Yep, so thank you all for attending. This is our Navient Customer Care Group puts these on. They're every other month. This is basically our contact information. So the 800 number, support@navient-inc.com for any support issues. And then, of course, there's always our website. So if you have any suggestions at all for a future webinar or something that you would like to see in the future, we recommend that you get that information to us because we love to, or something you would like to see at the summit.
Yep.
I mean, we're starting in June, we'll start prepping for the summit. So any of that information that you can provide us of something that you would like to see, we take that all into consideration and try to add as much of that content as we can to those presentations.
So thank you guys very much for your time today. We appreciate all of you guys that stuck around and listened to us go on. And any more information you need, don't hesitate to reach out to us and we can take it from there.
Thank you again.